Hello, this is Jordan. This video is being recorded on the evening of Sunday, November 13th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me today. And in this video, I am going to discuss the weekly update, the weekly outlook for precious metals. I have been battling a cold and a sore throat the last couple of days, so I don't plan on making this video as long as these usually are. So cut me a little bit of slack if you can. With that said, first here we have the weekly candle charts. We have gold at the top, silver at the bottom. In gold, we have the equivalents to the 200-day and 400-day moving averages. You can see those are coalescing just right below 1810. If you look going back to the beginning of the year, you can see that you had that low in January that was around 1800, and then a low in May, which looked to be a little bit above 1800. Then you had a high in August, was just above 1800. So around 1800 is going to be an area of significant resistance. And again, you have the two moving averages there just below 1810. So gold closed last week at 1769. So we're looking at a little bit more upside for gold in this move. Now looking at silver, as silver's been leading it led this entire move in the sector. It was the first thing to bottom, and $22 is a really important, really significant resistance level for silver. It just popped in my head I should do another video for silver only by itself, because looking at the history, going back 50 years or so, 22 is a really important level all around. So on whether you're looking at daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly charts. So silver actually tested 22 on Friday and it came off. So it'll be interesting to see what silver does. Perhaps we could look to that as a leading indicator. If silver at some point in the next couple weeks, if it's able to really punch through $22, that would be really significant, because based on that, you could probably see it go to 26. And even if silver were to correct and consolidate here for a month or two, or even a little bit longer, you're kind of potentially you have a bit of an inverse head and shoulders going back to May, although that might be kind of stretching it. But I guess my point is, even if you correct and consolidate here, you're building up more fuel for a potential push above 22. So look at silver in the short term as a potential leading indicator for the sector. And so that's the question. How does it deal with resistance at 22, which is extremely significant? This chart is from QF Research on Twitter. Great follow. And so we have silver at the bottom here and the gold-silver ratio at the top. And with trend lines, I would encourage technical analysts and chartists to avoid using trend lines unless there are numerous touches to the trend line, because a lot of times what we see is people will kind of force a trend line onto a chart and they're not really visualizing the trend. They're just, okay, I'm drawing a line, and they're kind of really forcing it. And so, if you can spot a trend and then draw the trend line, and the market has touched that line a handful of times, that's more significant when it breaks. And so the gold-silver ratio here, if you look from the silver squeeze point, that low, I think, is in early 2021, all the way up to recently, where you can see the arrow that's this breakdown from the channel. Take a moment and look how many times the gold-silver ratio in white there has touched that trend line. So it's touched that line. I want to say at least 6 times, maybe more. So that could be a significant break. That could have major implications for precious metals. So it's definitely keep an eye on this ratio and see if you could see the market kind of the gold silver ratio, maybe it rebounds a little bit and does a back test, and it could plunge after that. I don't know. Maybe the plunge comes when the market, when the Fed's done hiking rates and the market's thinks they're going to cut really soon. That's a possibility. But I mean, overall, it's a really good sign that we could be at a significant bottom here. We could have seen a major bottom in the precious metal sector, and silver, the gold silver ratio already, that peaked. So silver relative to gold bottomed before the sector did. In the last couple months, or whenever around the summer, whenever that was. I mean, that's just significant for the entire sector. I mean, if you're watching the video, you probably know that you want to see silver outperforming. So I'm droning on here, but long story short, very potentially a very significant break in the gold silver ratio in this trend line. And I mean, if if we get a real bull market move in this sector, you're going to see this come down. This ratio will come down a lot. It's in position to do that if we're set up for a real move in the sector, in the next 12 to 18 months. We're just finishing things off here. We have the miners here, and just very simply, you look at GDX 30 is really significant resistance. GDXJ 37 is significant resistance, and that's true whether including the 200-day moving average or not. You can see those in this chart. And so the circle there, that's just the short-term upside. That's where this move that we've had, that's where it could continue. Maybe that move is equivalent to gold testing 1800 or 1810. So that's something to keep in mind. And maybe we get one option is we get a pullback from there. The other option is the market's able to blast through. But I would say, in the last couple weeks, this has been an everything rally. Gold's rallying with the stock market. So I don't know if that's really and gold hasn't really been outperforming the S&P in recent weeks. So I don't know if that's, if that, I would just be skeptical that we're going to see precious metals continue up in a straight line over the next couple months. So this could be, these 200-day moving averages in the miners as well as gold could be, that could be where this rebound runs into some resistance. And of course, they're circling back to silver, $22 level. Keep an eye on that because if silver really struggles there, could be a short-term indicator for the larger sector. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Follow everything at this channel. Follow all my work at TheDailyGold.com. Potentially, we're setting up for a really exciting time for precious metals. Could have seen a major bottom in the last month or so, last couple weeks. So things are looking a lot better now. Hopefully, I'll feel better soon, and hopefully everybody has a great week. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.